Do I even need to say anything at this point? I reviewed every Gen 6 Pokemon, and now here's a compilation of all that for you. So sit back, relax, get ready for the aspect ratio to flip because of their TikToks, and definitely go follow my TikTok because a Generation 7 starts tomorrow. And those guys up there, they get to finally be relevant.
Pokemon number 650 and the start of Generation 6. Chespin. The grass starter this time around is an adorable little chipmunk, and I do absolutely love Chespin. He's just so fun and full of personality, especially in the anime. He's great in the anime. Yes, his evolutions, we'll get there. But for Chespin himself, no notes. And with this being the generation that switched to 3D models, I definitely think it was important for the starters, the first Pokemon you see really, to look good in 3D. And yeah, Chespin looks great in 3D. Still has a bunch of personality, especially when he's more animated than the more recent games, and, you know, obviously already looks good in 2D, so yeah, Chespin's great. So yeah, it's Chespin. A fantastic first impression. Let's hope they keep it up. Where's that ominous music coming from? Pokemon number 651. Quilladin. Oh no. Yep. Chespin's evolution here kind of goes downhill real fast. Kind of rolls downhill, you know. Quilladin is quite unpopular and unliked, and this time I'm inclined to agree with the community. I'm not a fan of him at all. Now, is he as bad as Pignite? Ooh, that's a tricky one. Clearly they wanted to go from cute to derpy, but yeah, I don't think they stuck the landing. Now it's Quilladin, my least favorite middle evolution starter. I think there's worse. So yeah, it's Quilladin. What if you wanted a good Chespin evolution, but Arceus said, ball? Pokemon number 652. Chestnut. Chespin's final evolution here is also widely unpopular in the community. People have seething hatred towards Chestnut here. And? Are we looking at the same Mon? I don't get it. Like, the Firestarter's final evolution this generation, I can see the problem people have with it. I can see it. But Chestnut here, I don't see anything. I don't have a problem with Chestnut at all. He looks fine. Like, it's genuinely so confusing how people are just have so much vitriol against Chestnut here. Always like he's the worst ever, lowest tier, like, why? Are we looking at the same Mon? You know what? I'm gonna try to figure this out myself. So, sit down and relax, because this might just be my longest Pokemon review, because we are going to figure this out. Okay, the head. Is it the bald cap? I mean, I guess it looks a little off, but, like, it's not that jarring, and, you know, it fits with the rest of the design. Is it the whiskers on his face? Well, no, I'd argue that actually makes him look a tad cute. Is it the armored shell on his back with spikes? No, I'd say that looks decent, you know, that's like the main piece of the design, that looks good. Is it the lanky arms? I mean, I don't know, because like, it has a whole neat thing where the arms come together to make that spiky shield, and like, I think that's a really cool part of the design. Is it just the general shape of his body? Well, I don't know. He's relatively thin, and then he has this big, like, you know, backpack spiky shell on his back, and I think that looks pretty cool, actually. Is it the tail? Well, no, it's just an average-looking tail, you know, tail looks just fine. Is it the legs? The legs do look a little Cinderlicker, you know, like basic. So I guess I could give you that, but, like, they ain't even that bad. Is it the typing? He is a tank with a 4x weakness, but, like, usability isn't always the end-all be-all, and definitely wouldn't cause people to be vitriolically so upset against him. So, okay, is it just everything added up together? I don't know. He looks fine. Again, are we looking at the same Mon? He looks just fine. I kind of like him, honestly. He's a tank with a spiky shield, whole gimmick, spikes on the back of his shell and such. Yeah. Yeah, the only problems I can really find is like maybe the bald cap on the head is a tad off, and then the cylindrical legs are a bit too basic, but like, that's about it. So yeah, it's Chestnut. Like, honestly, he probably isn't even in my top 10 favorite starters, but, like, I like him just fine. I cannot physically see the problem so many people have with him. Pokemon number 653. Fennekin. The Firestarter this time around is an adorable little Fennec Fox, and I do absolutely love Fennekin. In fact, I fell in love with Fennekin at first sight, and when it was announced, I specifically remember saying, oh, I am picking this thing no matter what it evolves into. No matter what it evolves into. Yes, I really did say that in real life, and yes, that is really ironic in hindsight. But dread of what's to come aside, Fennekin, yeah, absolutely adorable. So fantastically cute in the anime as well. Love its cry. It has also some really cute idle animations in the game. Fantastic. Could you make the critique that maybe its head is a bit too bobblehead big? Maybe. But I don't care, it's still cute anyways. So yeah, it's Fennekin. No matter what it evolves into, no matter what it evolves into, no matter what it evolves into. Pokemon number 654. Braixen. Fennekin has evolved into this adorable little fire psychic witch girl. Neat. It's a great middle stage, and in fact it's considered more popular and more beloved than its final stage that it evolves into. Ash's companion in the anime got a Fennekin and it stayed at Braixen. Braixen made it into Pokken over its final evo, so yeah. But here's the thing. I completely disagree with the fact that it stayed Braixen made it into Pokken, because even Game Freak knew the final stage wasn't popular, wasn't marketable. And I've been setting up these seeds throughout so many past Pokemon reviews. First off, the anime. They only give characters popular Pokemon. That's why Serena's Fennekin never went past Braixen. Ash's Pignite. Ash's Palpitoad. Ash's Boldore. No, that's not true. They didn't not evolve Braixen because, this final form ain't popular. They just did it because that's just how the anime rolls a lot of the time. Well then what about Pokken? Well, if you look at its fighting style, it's doing flips all over, it's, flying all over the place on a broom because it's a witch. And here's just the simple fact. Braixen's evolution is a lot more bulky, so it would just genuinely look weird to be doing, flips and flying all over the place and such. So they went with the more nimble-looking middle evolution. Like, it's clear that that's just the fighting style they wanted for this character, so they're like, yeah, we gotta go with the middle stage. Like, think about this for a second. If we were going on starter popularity, Grovyle would have made it instead of Sceptile. Duh. So, yeah, it's Braixen. A fantastic middle stage that many even say is better than its evolution. We're getting there next time. I got a lot of words to say about its evolution. Pokemon number 655. Delphox. Ahem. The mere exposure effect is a cognitive bias in which individuals show preference towards things they're more familiar with, and in turn, repeated exposure to something that maybe even they don't like at first, they can eventually come to like, even subconsciously. This isn't a dictionary. So, my declaration. I will pick Fennekin no matter what it evolves into. Here we have Delphox, a very unpopular Pokemon. Wow, 2 of the starters are very unpopular this generation, that's kind of crazy. And unlike Chestnut, I can see what problems people have with Delphox. First off, its ears. Yes, it's a fennec fox that have hair coming out of their ears, but this seems like a bit much for people, a bit too much. And its dress. It's a bit too overly bulky. Not bulky as in muscles, but just, bulky as in, well, yeah, in general. And let me tell you, I wasn't a fan at first either. But I made that declaration, so I basically forced myself to like Delphox. And eventually, like I just said with the mirror exposure effect, yeah, nowadays I unironically do like Delphox. You know what really helps? And I've said this a few times now, but the anime. Look up scenes of Delphox just, moving around, existing in the anime. I think it actually looks pretty dang good, animated in the anime. And also, if you ever play, a fan game, there's some good Delphox, 2D sprites and such. I think the real problem is it doesn't look too good in 3D. Its 3D model, doesn't look the best, which is very ironic because this is the first game to go to 3D models, and the fire starter doesn't look good in 3D. Very, very ironic. So, yeah, it's Delphox. You hate this mon? Well, try the mirror exposure effect by watching some anime clips. Maybe it'll help. Pokemon number 656. Froakie. You don't want to hear it. Froakie here is my least favorite Kalos starter. Put those pitchforks down. I still like Froakie. He's just, there always has to be a last place. What can I say? Fennekin's absolutely adorable, and Chespin has a fantastic personality. But I do like Froakie. He's a neat little frog guy, a nice little ninja to be, and cool in the anime as well. Yeah, I like him. He has that neat, foam bubble scarf that he, like, throws foam at his opponents, at least in the anime. You know, neat. So, yeah, it's Froakie. I mean, last place always sounds, like, so negative, so bad, but, like, there always has to be one, even if it's great, and still good. Pokemon number 657. Frogadier. Froakie's evolution here is this absolutely fantastic middle stage. It's basically just taller Froakie with more pronounced dark blue that you barely see a little bit on Froakie, you know, and he basically has a whole, like, hood mask thing going on now, you know. He really is becoming a ninja. Honestly, it's kind of wild just like the extremes we're having this generation. Like, 2 of the final stage starters are super duper unpopular, and then 2 of the middle stage starters are just so dang good, you know. Frogadier and Braixen, absolutely fantastic, and then Quilladin just... ew. So yeah, it's Frogadier. Genuinely just one of the best middle stages. Well done. Pokemon number 658. Greninja. You don't want to hear it. Again. Okay, what do you mean you're gonna talk good about Chestnut and Delphox, but talk bad about Greninja? Well, here's the thing. When the starters' final stages were leaked, like right before the game came out, I had a negative reaction to seeing all 3 of them. Yes, even Greninja, the fan favorite, voted one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. People love him, made it into Smash Bros. He's just so popular. The fancy Ash Greninja and all that, you know, great arc in the anime. And, okay, I do like Greninja. I do. It's just, yeah. Like, here's the thing. What I think it really is that people have this love that they want to give, but they don't like Chestnut, they don't like Delphox, so the only one they have to give it to is Greninja, so Greninja gets all of it. Whereas for me, I like Chestnut and Delphox and Greninja, so they all 3 equally get, you know, love from me. So Greninja doesn't get all of it, so I'm like, yeah, Greninja's he's just fine. Though I will say, specifically, what was that negative first reaction I had with Greninja? I was like, that's its tongue? As a scarf? Oh. And honestly, I'm still not over that completely. You know, that's its tongue. But like, I'm more used to it now. Again, you know, I like Greninja just fine. Also, to actually talk about the design of the Pokemon in the Pokemon review, he's now all dark blue, which, you know, Froakie had just like a splash of dark blue. Frogadier had like a mask of dark blue, so now Greninja being all dark blue, that basically means like he has a bodysuit on, and you know, ninja in a skin-tight bodysuit, yeah, that's like a classic. A good design decision. So yeah, it's Greninja. Wait, aren't ninjas supposed to be, you know, all stealthy in the dark and such? Greninja is in the spotlight as one of the most popular Pokemon of all time. He's not a very good ninja. Pokemon number 659. Bunnelby. The regional rodent this time around is an adorable little bunny rabbit. I do absolutely love Bunnelby. The, I guess, main piece of his design is his big old ears, which he uses to dig like shovels. You can see with the brown on the top of his ears, basically representing that his ears, you know, are dirty, full of mud, because he uses them to dig. And yeah, man, it's a neat little thing they came up with. I like him. Also, his hidden ability is Huge Power, so yeah, that's pretty dang helpful. A nice 57 speed, and then Huge Power making his attack 72. Yeah, a pretty dang good first stage, I gotta say. With that hidden ability, that is. So yeah, it's Bunnelby. Man, this guy has such huge potential. I can't wait to see what he evolves into. Okay, this is the 3rd time ominous music has played this generation alone when I said I was anticipating an evolution of Amon. This is getting ridiculous. Pokemon number 660. Diggersby. Oh no. Bunnelby's evolution here is horrendous. Oh, I don't like Diggersby at all. He's now this big ugly rabbit with this weird vest thing on. And the brown on his ears is now also on his mouth, like he ate mud? Oh. And the worst part is he's actually pretty dang good, with Huge Power, that is. He's a tank, so high defenses and low attack, and then Huge Power fixes that attack, so... And, you know, part ground type, so Stab Earthquake. Dang, he's good. Of course, not, you know, top tier competitive, but like, if you get a Huge Power Diggersby and a Nuzlocke, I hate the design, but I'm gonna have to use him because he'd be useful. So, yeah, it's Diggersby. You know, man, at least stop eating mud. That might help your image just a little bit. Pokemon number 661. Fletchling. The regional bird this time around is absolutely adorable. Once again, I do absolutely love Fletchling. Fletchling is a fledgling little baby bird. Nice. See, this is what I come to Pokemon for. Very clever name. course, I'm also here for the fantastic design. Yeah, Fletchling is adorable. Basically just like a bean with then some very basic bird legs, and yeah, just so adorable. And I love the little tail. It's you know, it's a nice little design. And of course, just, you know, knowing what he evolves into. Yeah, Fletchling's fantastic. So yeah, it's Fletchling. A fantastic little bean with a clever little name. Pokemon number 662. Fletchinder. Upon evolving, Fletchinder here now has the Fire type. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Fire is one of my favorite types. Definitely happy that they're back to making regional birds cool and interesting. Gen 5's regional bird was very disappointing. I also want to shout out that the orange on Fletchling was clearly a hint at it becoming a Fire type. Also, to talk about the name again, we got still Fletch, but then Fletchinder for, you know, Inder, Cinder, Tinder, you know, fire-related stuff, so nice. Also, the first part of the name, Fletching, has to do with the tail on arrowheads, and Fletchinder and Fletchling's tail looks like said tail on, you know, arrowheads, so another just neat, great name. So yeah, it's Fletchinder. You know, with that fire typing, you could say this design is pretty lit. Nope, I'm gonna stop myself right there. Pokemon number 663. Talonflame. The Phoenix has arrived. Fletchling's final evolution is absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love Talonflame. Like, honestly, I kind of consider Staraptor my favorite bird because, you know, he looks cool and nostalgia. But, like, Talonflame here at least speaks to how good his design is if he's able to fight against nostalgia itself and might even win. Of course, Talonflame is known for just being absolutely busted thanks to his hidden ability in Gen 6, Gale Wings, giving him a priority on every flying type move ever. And it was so busted, Game Freak then nerfed it, so it only works on full HP now, so yeah, he kind of dropped off hard. And those trolls over at Game Freak, after they nerfed it in Gen 7, you get a free Gale Wings Talonflame in Gen 7. They knew what they were doing. They were taunting us on what they did. So yeah, it's Talonflame. I'd end this video off with like a Phoenix Caw, but like, I don't want that on the internet. Pokemon number 664. Scatterbug. The regional bug this time around is such a derpy looking guy, and honestly I kinda like him. But of course, Scatterbug is most well known for his evolution having 20 different forms. And it's actually really dang interesting how they, you know, programmed this whole thing, set it all up. Basically, there are 20 different forms of Scatterbug. They all just look exactly the same. Yes, that is how they set it up in-game. Because, you know, Scatterbug's form is based on where the real-world location of your DS is set to. And interestingly, the first Scatterbug, Scatterbug Index 0, has a slightly different sprite in Pokemon Home than every other Scatterbug form that all look the same. You know, the difference is his eyes are, like, slightly off. Yes, really, that's a real difference that you can see in Pokemon Home. And of course, well, I need that specific Scatterbug for my living dex in Home, except I can't really reset X and Y and set it to that region that it needs to be in because I've already completed the national dex in both games, so I ain't deleting that. Luckily, my friend just wanted to reset his copy of X and do a Nuzlocke, so I just made sure he set it to the specific region he needed to set it to, his DS, and then he, you know, break the Nuzlocke rule a little bit to get me a Scatterbug, and bam, now I finally have that Scatterbug form. And then they patch it out of Home a month later. Well, yeah, that's no longer a thing. Turns out that was a bug on this bug type. So yeah, it's Scatterbug. Very fascinating how the developers programmed him into the game. Pokemon number 665. Spupa. Scatterbug's evolution here, as far as I can tell, doesn't have 20 identical looking forms, you know, in-game, like Scatterbug. I think what happens is Spupa just takes note of what, you know, form index Scatterbug was on, so it knows what form to turn into when it evolves. But that's just my guess. I just took a basic programming class. As for the design, it's fine. I mean, he has these, like, little tiny square, colorful things coming off of him. Yeah, I don't got much to say about him. So, yeah, it's Spupa. Honestly, kind of bland. Is that, like, gonna be indicative of his evolution? Oh, no. The exact opposite, actually. Pokemon number 666. Pavilion. The 666 Satan himself Pokemon is this cute little butterfly with 20 different alternative forms. Wow. Yeah, okay. It is just a funny little coincidence that the big 666 number goes to the little butterfly with 20 different forms. And yeah, I do like Pavilion, you know. It has some really nice patterns. It ain't too good, but you know, regional bug, what you gonna do? Though, here's the thing. This was the form that my region got. Game Freak, how could you do this to me? This is such a lame, boring form compared to so many others. Bruh. And if you'll allow me to gloat for a second, yes, I did go through the effort and have all 20 forms from X and Y now sitting in my living decks at home. So yeah, Civilian. Wait, I never even said what my favorite form was. This one. It's this one right here. Pokemon number 667. Litleo. Alright, now that we're done with all the regional requirements of this and that, our first actual unique new Pokemon is a cute little lion cub. Neat. And I like him. Litleo's cute. Certainly has an interesting typing of normal and fire. And looking at those stats, a nice 73 special attack, 72 speed. Yeah, a pretty dang good early game find. So yeah, it's Litleo. A great early game fire type. Wait, there's also Fletchling. Huh, we are drowning in early game fire types. That's not normal. Pokemon number 668. Pyroar. Litleo's evolution is, of course, just now a big, fully grown lion, with a different mane depending on the gender, just like real lions. Though I think in reality, female lions just don't have any hair at all, or something. I don't know, that's all I know about lions. And Pyroar is pretty dang decent in-game, not nowhere near top tier competitive, but like, you know, just having over 100 in special attack and speed is pretty dang useful for any playthrough team, really. And Pyroar can actually take advantage of Hyper Beam for once, you know, stab, over 100 special attack. Also, I gotta shout out Pyroar in the latest Pokemon game, just having a big old reference to that. So yeah, it's Pyroar. Wait, aren't you gonna talk about that evolution level of 35? That seems like a tad high. Well, with the XP share how it is, Gen 6 onwards, evolution levels are no longer as much of a burden. Pokemon number 669. The most nice? Flabébé. Generation 6 introduced the new Fairy type, and here we have the first ever Fairy type Pokemon, not counting all the past Pokemon we've talked about previously that retroactively got the Fairy type. This is the first newly introduced Pokemon with the Fairy type in the generation Fairy type was introduced. And Flabébé's a cute little thing. It's like real dang small. Like, that flower, it ain't oversized or cartoony. That is a realistically sized flower it is riding on. It is that small. And yes, I am with many people in thinking it really should have been part grass type. Yes. Oh, it's not the flower, it's the thing riding on the flower. So it's not a grass type. But like, spoiler alert, its final evolution merges with the flower, so like, at least then it should have been a part grass type. So yeah, it's Flabébé. Starting off the newest type with one of the smallest mons. Interesting. Pokemon number 670. Floette. It's been 3,000 years. Actually, it's been about 3 years since I've started this series. Flabébé's evolution here has gotten big enough to now be able to hold the flower. It's still pretty dang small, being basically the same size as the flower, but, you know, it's gotten a tad bigger. Now, Floette here is going to need a shiny stone to evolve, and when the game first came out, well, I didn't know that. And my friend didn't know about this either, the same rival I've talked about before, and he was further along in the game than I was, with a nice level 50 Floette, not knowing why it wouldn't evolve, until finally he figured it out, and then he told me, so I wouldn't have to suffer that same fate. Thank you for your sacrifice. So yeah, it's Floette. Oh, you know, I haven't even really talked about the design. I like it, she's cute. Pokemon number 671. Florges. Flabébé's final evolution here has very clearly become the first Waifumon of Gen 6. And for anyone new here, I'm not implying anything by that, I'm just talking objectively. And yeah, the first fairy type being a Waifumon, not surprising. And yeah, I like Florges, she's pretty. And as I implied with Floette, yeah, I used one on my first ever playthrough of Y. With her highest stat being special defense and, you know, fairy type not having too many weaknesses, yeah, pretty dang useful. And, you know, a nice 112 special attack, so she can actually put in some damage. Though, like I said with Flabébé, merged with the flower, really should have been a grass type at this point. So yeah, it's Florges. Wait a minute. This Waifumon's first form was at number 669. Game Freak, you knew what you were doing. What is wrong with you? Pokemon number 672. Skiddo. Here we have this little grass-type baby goat Pokemon, and I do like Skiddo, he's real dang cute. And of course, just the main core memory that many people have, myself included with Skiddo, is being able to ride around on one in X and Y. And let me tell you, as a kid, discovering that broken down fence that you can hop over and then explore just the rest of the route while riding on Skiddo and just getting to skip trainers and such, that made me feel a real big brain right there. Exploration and discovery are some of my favorite things in Pokemon games. And gameplay-wise, Skiddo isn't the worst for an in-game team at least, 65 attack, if I was level 32, not bad. So yeah, it's Skiddo. Now yes, obviously as an adult, that broken down fence was very obvious, but that fence wasn't designed for an adult, it was designed for a kid to just have a big aha moment when they finally figured it out. Pokemon number 673, Go-Goat. Skiddo's evolution here is, no surprise, a fully grown goat, and yeah, I like him, he's cool. And just like Skiddo, you can ride around on Go-Goat, and that was a big advertisement point of the game about being able to ride on him. And then you just do it in one city for one thing, and it's like, huh. Marketing clickbait. Now, as for gameplay, he's certainly not the best being a pure grass type, but he actually has a lot of dang good coverage and some good setup moves, so if you underestimate him, he might just surprise you with a bulk up and then an earthquake. And next generation, when setting up terrain becomes easy, his hidden ability that boosts his defense in grassy terrain, yeah, pretty decent. So yeah, it's Go-Goat. Oh, I want to tell you about something. So I found 2 shiny Go-Goats in the exact same group at the exact same time in Scarlet Violet. Man. Pokemon number 674, Pancham. Here we have this little panda Pokemon, who is basically just a little impressionable kid trying his darndest to look intimidating. He's got a leaf in his mouth like the big old tough guys usually do, and he's just, making a sort of intimidating looking pose in his official artwork. And it's really cool how you evolve him, because all you gotta do is get him up to 32 or beyond while having a dark type in the party. Basically meaning that dark type corrupts this youth right here. Because, spoiler alert, Pancham's evolution does become part dark type. And that's such a cool whole dynamic, I love that. So yeah, it's Pancham. People always be going, oh, Game Freak's ran out of ideas in Gen 4 and Gen 5, and now here we are with Gen 6 and a fantastic idea, fantastically executed. Pokemon number 675, Pangoro. Pancham's evolution here has, like I said, become corrupted by its dark-type influence and become a dark fighting-type delinquent. He's all big and intimidating, has a much longer grass leaf thing in his mouth, and yeah, I do like him, he's real cool. A nice 124 attack with some nice respectable defenses and HP. Oh well, 4 times weakness to Fairy in the generation it's introduced in. And the fantastic ability of Iron Fist to just up punching moves, including the healing Drain Punch. And for a second I was like, oh, Scrubby's a pretty good hidden ability, being able to hit ghost types with fighting type attacks. But he's part dark type, so he already has that covered. Spirit Tomb and Sableye, there we go. So yeah, it's Pangoro. Okay, serious question. Serious question. Is this actually a JoJo reference? Pokemon number 676. Furfrou. A poodle Pokemon in a French region? Oh, that's absolute perfection. Yeah, I like Furfrou, he's pretty neat, with all those fancy haircut patterns you can give him. And Game Freak did something that's seemingly out of character most of the time. They actually made him available early on, so you can get one and give him a haircut right away. And I've heard many people say Furfrou isn't too good, but his ability halves physical attacks. His only weakness is fighting. Most fighting type moves are physical. This man can take a hit. I'm just saying, one time I fought my friend who had one, and I underestimated that Furfrou, and he surprised me. So yeah, it's Furfrou. The universe has a funny way of working out. I wasn't planning on timing a haircut right before talking about the haircut Pokemon, but it kind of just lined up perfectly. Pokemon number 677, Esper. Here we have this cute little, wait, what is Esper? Okay. Seems to be based off a cat. That's one ugly cat. Nah, I kid, I love Esper. And I'm certainly not alone, the community loves Esper, because he just has these dead eyes that just fit perfectly into so many memes. He's somehow able to be both creepy and cute. That is an achievement. And he has such a interesting, unique cry. It sounds like just a hiccup, So yeah, it's Esper. Hey, want to see my impression of Esper? Pokemon number 678, Meowstic. Esper's evolution here looks different depending on the gender, yeah, some Pokemon do. But interestingly, the gender also determines its level up moveset and its hidden ability. It's different between male and female. And I also thought that they had different stat spreads, but nope, they have the exact same. Mandela hit me yet again. Oh, but which one do I like more? That's tough. Now here's the thing. Is Meowstic forgettable? Like, don't get me wrong, I like Meowstic. I literally shiny hunted for one in Gen 8 because I like it so much. But it feels, you know, the vibe, it feels like it's forgettable. Potentially thanks to just Esper, you know, being such a big meme legend in the community. So yeah, it's Meowstic. Like, honestly, tell me what you think. Do you think it feels forgettable? And remember, you saying it's forgettable does not equal you saying you don't like it. Pokemon number 679. Honedge. So, fresh off the Generation 5 hate train, they reveal Honedge, and boy, I remember, people were upset. But of course, even back then, I was like, oh, he's really cool. It's a haunted sword that if you grab its, you know, handle, it'll wrap its cloth around you and possess you. That's cool. And you know, out of all the, like, inanimate objects to make into, you know, creatures, I think a haunted sword is, like, one of the most justifiable ones. You know? So yeah, it's Honedge. You know, back in the day when I was a kid, I had one of those foam Minecraft diamond swords, and sucks I still don't have it, because it would have been the perfect prop to have for this video in particular. Pokemon number 680. Doublade. Honedge's evolution here only added fuel to the fire back in the day. Oh, now it just evolves into from one sword to two swords, and it's literally called Doublade? Oh, Game Freak is dead. I'm telling you, I remember this. And it certainly didn't help that they didn't reveal its big final evolution until after the game came out, so a lot of people thought, yeah, this is it, and a lot of people thought this sucks. For me, I was a little lesser on it, but, you know, I didn't think Game Freak was dead. In fact, I specifically, you know, sought out a Honedge and had it on my team for my first ever playthrough of Y. To spite the loud haters? Maybe. So, yeah, it's Doublade. Double the sword, double the fun, double the possession, double the hate. Pokemon number 681. Aegislash. Aegislash. I really miss Pokedex 3D Pro. Honedge's final evolution here. Boy, is the redemption story of a century. Aegislash here is a sword and a shield, and he switches from offense to defense thanks to his ability, getting either real high attack if you attack, or real high defense stats if you defend. And has a fantastic signature move where you protect yourself, and if your opponent hits you, their attack goes down. And with that steel and ghost type, Aegislash is real dang good, and the usability and the cool idea, his popularity shot up real dang quick. People forgot about, being angry at Doublade real quick. So yeah, it's Aegislash. Sure, I just caught a Honedge out of spite, but boy, Aegislash was a real essential team member. I absolutely love him. Pokemon number 682. Spritzy. Here we have another little fairy type thing that flies around. And while it may not look like the most obvious, it actually is a Objectmon, because it is based off a perfume bottle. In the name, spritz, spray, and it has a big old nose because perfume smells nice, so yeah. And yeah, I like Spritzy, it's cute. Though, it evolves by trading while holding a new item, and it's a version exclusive? So yeah, it's Spritzy. With the effort it takes to evolve it, I certainly am curious on what it evolves into. At this point, I'm not even gonna be surprised about the ominous music playing when I anticipate about one's evolution. Pokemon number 683. Aromatisse. Oh. Man. First Diggersby and now Aromatisse? And some people would argue Chestnut and Delphox, but I'll argue against those two. Huh. I mean, it's just a little bit ironic that people are like, Generation 5 just had so many designs, and that's why there were so many bad designs. But here we have Gen 6 now, and with a lot less mons, but still some absolutely horrid creatures. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Aromatisse, and most people aren't either. It's certainly giving off Jinx vibes. And the evolution method of needing to find a specific item to have it hold while trading definitely doesn't help. And I mean, Perfume Witch Doctor. That, a cool idea, but not a fan of the execution. So is it a waifumon? I mean, it's standing on two legs, it has two arms, and it looks feminine, so I guess the answer is, if you count Blossom as a waifumon, then Aromatisse also counts. So yeah, it's Aromatisse. Speaking of waifus, I gotta make a formal apology. I accidentally called Florges the first waifumon of Gen 6, when Delphox was right there, and I went on a whole big tirade about Delphox, so how could I forget Delphox? Oh right, this is a Aromatisse video. Pokemon number 684. Swirlix. Here we have Spritzy's version exclusive counterpart. And before any smart aleck in the comments goes, oh, you can get the opposite one in your friend's Safari. I know, that requires real people and is rare. And Swirlix here is clearly based off of Cotton Candy. And you know, the whole fairy-ness has been really well executed so far, because we've had flowers, we've had perfume, and now candy. And yeah, that certainly all is like fairy-ness feeling, definitely. And I do like Swirlix. It's, you know, real dang cute and real dang derpy. And to catch up anyone new here, derpiness does not always guarantee a like from me, but I like Swirlix, so clearly it did something right. So yeah, it's Swirlix. Watch. Wow, I can't wait to see what it evolves into. Yep, and right on cue, the ominous music. Pokemon number 685. Slurpuff. Swirlix's evolution here is I mean, I'm definitely not a big fan of it, but I'm absolutely a lot more of a fan of it than I am of Aromatisse. This is so much better. Of course, Slurpuff, just like Aromatisse, needs to be evolved by being traded while holding yet another new item. Man, Game Freak, did you really have to go and introduce 2 new hold items just to evolve 2 Pokemon? And you know, Slurpuff has that dog in him. As in, there's part dog in his design. Honestly, it's like really hard to tell, but like, that's what the smart design analysis people say. So yeah, it's Slurpuff. You know, it has slur in its name. There's gotta be some sort of joke about canceling Slurpuff in there somewhere. I don't know, you got one? Pokemon number 686. Inkay. Here we have this cute little squid guy with the really neat typing of Psychic and Dark. And I'd say Inkay is definitely most well known for how you evolve him. Basically, just give him level 30, while holding your game system upside down. What a crazy idea. And I do like Inkay, he's real cute. And he just has Contrary as one of his regular abilities, which is absolutely insane. Contrary being a fantastic ability that swaps stat changes. I guess adding the whole upside down gimmick even to his stats in his gameplay. Nice. So yeah, it's Inkay. Oh, let me tell you a tip for any Switch players. So if you're playing with a Pro Controller, and then you gotta, you know, undock your Switch, turn upside down to evolve Inkay, you gotta turn off your Pro Controller first, because it's detecting your Pro Controller and it won't, you know, detect your Switch is upside down if it's still connected. You're welcome. Pokemon number 687. Malamar. Being flipped upside down to evolve, Malamar here is the incarnation of evil, and I do not say that lightly. Like, there's been plenty of Pokemon that are misconstrued for being evil. You know, Giratina, one of the legendaries this generation, but like Malamar here is actually evil. You know, he looks evil, and 2, you know, the Pokedex just talking about how he'll just mind control people and to do what he wants. And he's also a threat in the games because, oh, 92 attack, that ain't too crazy. Contrary, superpower. Oh. Though, of course, shout out to the design for just being a upside-down longer Inkay. So, yeah, it's Malamar, the most evil... My friend Malamar did nothing wrong. My friend Malamar deserves our credit card information, including the expiration date and 3 silly numbers on the back. Pokemon number 688. Binacle. Bionicle? So here we have this strange rock barnacle hand creature that isn't too popular. Not too many people like him, but I like him actually. Because you see, he was one of the Pokemon that was not revealed before the game came out. So when I, you know, ran into him for the first time in-game, it was just a special memory of just the feeling of, oh, a new Pokemon! As I'm playing the new Pokemon game. Whoa, I've never seen that before. And I proceeded to put him on my team. So he was a part of my team for my first ever playthrough of Gen 6. So yeah, it's Binacle. Certainly not too popular, but I got a soft spot for this, I'll go. Pokemon number 689. Barbaracle. Binacle's evolution here has gone from 2 faces to 5. And again, not too popular, seen as ugly, not too many people like him, but I like him because he was on my first ever playthrough of Y. And you know, nowhere near top tier competitive, but he's pretty dang good in a playthrough team. All you gotta do is not send him in on a grass type, and yeah, nice 105 attack, 115 defense. And then either ability, Tough Claws to, you know, boost up physical contacting moves, or Sniper to boost up the power of crits, and then he learns Cross Chop, which has a high crit ratio. Yeah. And he's slow, so just give him that lens that ups accuracy if you move last, so Cross Chop's 80 accuracy has helped out a bit, and yeah. So yeah, it's Barbaracle. Don't think you can sneak up on him with a grass type move, because you can see it at 5 different angles. Pokemon number 690. Skrelp.
Here we have this awesome little poison seahorse Pokemon. I absolutely love Skrelp. Of course, what really makes me like him is knowing what he evolves into. But still, Skrelp himself is pretty neat. He's a little seaweed kelp seahorse. Got kelp in the name. Pokedex talking about how he hides in the seaweed and then, sprays poison on his prey. Neat. Though, to be fair and balanced, even with the new EXP share system, 60s across the board in stats, and not evolving to level 48? Oh. And it especially sucks because Skrelp is a version exclusive, and his version exclusive counterpart evolves at a much more reasonable level and has similar stats. Huh. So yeah, it's Skrelp. Is the effort worth it? Oh, I definitely think it is. Pokemon number 691. Dragalge. Or Dragalge, whatever. The reason Skrelp takes so long to evolve is because he becomes a dragon type. Ooh. A dragon, poison, seaweed seahorse? Oh, I love him. And that poison type really helps considering fairies were introduced this generation and, he's part dragon type, so yeah, and his highest stat is special defense, so absolute fairy counter right here. Oh, by now he's weak to Psychic. Well, again, he has high special defense, so I think he can survive a hit from a non-stab Psychic type attack from a fairy type. Yes, there's Psychic fairy types. I know. He's not perfect, no Pokemon is. So yeah, it's Dragalge. Let's see here. Dragon Seahorse, so we're comparing him to Kingdra? No, let's not compare him to Kingdra. They're cousins and they're pals. Pokemon number 692. Clauncher. Skrelp's version exclusive is this little shrimp guy. And more specifically, he's kind of a pistol shrimp, because he has this claw that he uses to, shoot like a gun. And he has a ability that powers up, shooting type attacks, like Shadow Ball and Dark Pulse and Aura Spear and such. Now, I definitely prefer Skrelp, but, I like Clauncher. He's a pretty neat little guy. Again, evolves at the much more reasonable level for his stats of 37. Maybe that's still a little too high, but when it's just a little bit too high, the new experience share system really helps. So yeah, it's Clauncher. What's that? A shrimp fried this rice. Yeah, no, I don't believe you. Clauncher does not learn one fire-type move. What's that? Scald? No, not good enough. Pokemon number 693. Clawitzer. Clauncher's evolution here is a shrimp with an even bigger pistol, let me tell you. And if I remember correctly, at least in the anime, you can detach and shoot itself? I think. And I definitely think Clawitzer should have been part dark type. Oh, what? Because of all the black on his design? Well, no, it's because of all the dark type. Oh, he only learns Dark Pulse. Huh. Okay, it's not the black on the design itself. It's the black around his eyes that make it look like a mask. That's making me think dark type. And you could spend a second looking at the name and being like, Clawitzer, that sounds kind of familiar. And then you see that he's literally called the Howitzer Pokemon. It's like, oh, okay. So that's exactly what he's based off of, I see. So yeah, it's Clawitzer. Okay, again, no, this shrimp could not fry rice, because he would just obliterate it instead of cooking it with his claw if he tried.
Pokemon number 694. Helioptile. Here we have this neat little electric lizard Pokemon that, interestingly, has a whole solar panel theme going on.
With the Pokedex talking about how it just does the thing solar panels do. Takes in the energy of the sun, of the light, and turns it into electricity. And then he literally has the solar power hidden ability, and is the only non-grass type to evolve via Sunstone. And he's a cute little guy, I like him. Also, Helioptile, along with Gogoat, both share the title of being the first Generation 6 Pokemon shown in the anime, appearing in black and white months before the game came out. So yeah, it's Helioptile. What do you call it when a non-plant converts energy from the sun? It can't just also be photosynthesis, right? Isn't that solely a word for plants? Pokemon number 695. Heliolisk. Helioptile's evolution here now has just an entire solar panel that he can just deploy at any time by, frilling up his skin? I guess that is his skin. Well, yeah, you see the same with the real-life lizards, frilling up to scare away predators. Also, Heliolisk's run animation is hilarious, I love it. But what I really want to talk about is his signature move, Parabolic Charge. It's like an electric Giga Drain, but it also hits everybody on the field at once, which is absolutely crazy because he can heal so much. Especially with that 109 attack, yeah, he's hitting. So yeah, it's Heliolisk. You want to know an absolutely crazy strategy? Have your partner have Volt Absorb. Parabolic Charge will both heal your partner and Heliolisk. That's crazy. Pokemon number 696. Tyrant. Our first fossil Pokemon of Generation 6 is a little baby T-Rex. Oh, that's like perfect. Oh, Game Freak is so out of ideas. It took them 6 generations, until 2013, to make a T-Rex Pokemon. No, they are not. And the fact that we got fossils in Generation 6 really shows that Game Freak does not care about patterns like we like to say they do. Because, it was Generations 1, 3, and 5. Okay, odd number generations for fossils, and then just Gen 6. And then nothing in Gen 7, and then something in Gen 8, and then... Well, do you count the Paradoxes in Gen 9? Anyways, yeah, I like Tyrant, Love a T-Rex, absolute childhood classic right there. So, yes, Tyrant. It's about dang time they made a T-Rex. Now all we need to wait for is a dolphin. Oh, right. Pokemon number 697. Tyrantrum. Oh, here we go. A big dragon-type T-Rex Pokemon. Oh, absolutely love him. A nice 121 attack, 119 defense, even a respectable 71 speed. Not bad. And either ability. He has Strong Jaw, which ups biting moves, including the fact that he has access to all the elemental bite moves. Ooh, good coverage. Or the other ability, Rockhead, which gets rid of recoil, so this man can hit you with a stab 150 power head smash without any recoil. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the realist will go head smash is 80 accuracy, he has 71 speed and low special defense. Let us enjoy this. So yeah, Tyrantrum. It took him 6 generations, but I definitely think Game Freak cooked on this T-Rex. Pokemon number 698. Amora. The other fossil is this real cute, pretty little, what is it called? Amerigosaurus? Huh. All I know is the long-necked dinosaur that I've, seen in other media, those classic old, Land Before Time films. The main character, the long-neck guy. Though as much as I like it, and I do really like it, we gotta be fair and balanced here. Its highest stat is HP, and it has a 4 times weakness. Oh. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2 4 times weaknesses! Double all. So yeah, it's Amora. Don't worry, Amora. You may not be able to win the battle competition, but you can definitely win the cuteness competition in my book. Well, as long as Eevee doesn't show up. Pokemon number 699. Or is this the most nice? Aurorus. Amora's evolution here has a much bigger, tassel? We calling it a tassel? Okay, Bubblepedia calls it a sail-like fin. Alright. Yeah, you can see, it's bigger. And a lot more beautiful. Aurorus is absolutely so pretty. Love it. It very clearly has a Northern Lights theme, or the Aurora Borealis. Now, gameplay-wise, still has 2 4 times weaknesses, but I think it has some potential, Its abilities either refrigerate to change normal type moves into ice type moves and boost them, or snow warning to just always get a snowstorm going, so you can set up a Aurora Veil right away. There might be something there. It might be useful. I hope it is, because I love the design. So yeah, it's Aurorus. An Aurora Borealis. At this time, okay, I know that meme's dead, but how dead? Have we gone back around to post-ironic yet? Pokemon number 700. Sylveon. For once, Game Freak's actually giving a big important number to a big important Pokemon, because Pokemon number 700 is a brand new evolution. And this evolution's special, because it was also the brand new type, and the poster child for said new type. A fairy, of course. I remember, it was revealed, and then Game Freak was like, oh, what type is it? And then there were people guessing, Sylph kinda means fairy, so it might be a new fairy typing they're introducing. People genuinely guessed the fairy typing when they, were like, oh, what type is it? And yeah, it was a good moment. It was a fun moment online. And interestingly, Sylveon's color scheme ironically matches up with the trans flag, perfectly. Which I'm sure was just a coincidence from the designers, but because of that, Sylveon has absolutely, I've seen it, been adopted by said community as a mascot. And yeah, shout out to our trans friends in the audience. But the gender doesn't even matter. Everyone loves Sylveon. Very quickly shot up as one of the most popular evolutions. You have the 2 main keys, it's strong in battle, and it's cute. And we even get a fun morbid question. Those ribbons on it. Is that skin? Flesh? Oh. And well, Glaceon's still my favorite. Yeah, I like Sylveon, it's great. Glaceon and Sylveon are kind of the only 2 evolutions I have, 2 plushes of each. And shout out to my mom back in 2013 when I asked her to buy me this at the store, and she's like, are you sure? You're a guy, and it's pink. Not allowing kids to express themselves and forcing them into strict gender stereotypes. Classic.
So yeah, it's Sylveon. A mon so good, it gets anybody of any identity or background to go, yeah, that's pretty good. Pokemon number 701, Hawlucha. What is a Mexican wrestler doing in France? Like in the last region, the mix of different cultures made sense, America, New York, melting pot. But why is there a Mexican wrestler in France? Alright, enough of being baffled. Hawlucha's great, people love him. And I like him too, he's neat. He definitely gets some popularity from being one of Ash's Pokemon in the anime, which, yeah, this is definitely the strangest choice I would have never expected them to give him. Also, interestingly, Hawlucha is the go-to mon for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon speedruns. And he has a fancy signature move that has 2 types. Wild. So yeah, it's Hawlucha. A pretty neat mixture of a luchador and a hawk too. Yeah, that's about it. Pokemon number 702. Dedenne. Our Pikachu clone for the generation, like I said last generation, is now going to have a secondary typing. And oh, it's very fitting that this Pikachu clone has a secondary typing of Fairy, the new typing introduced in this generation. And Dedenne definitely gives off, original Pikachu vibes, since he's, a real round boy. And yeah, I like him, he's cute, obviously. Has many cute moments in the anime, has a really cute run animation, yeah. But how is he in combat? 81 special attack and then a 101 speed? Maybe not the best. So yeah, it's Dedenne. Maybe don't go into combat, man, just stand there and look cute. You're winning that easily that way. Pokemon number 703. Carbink. Here we have this random little one-stager rock fairy crystal guy who's not very good. Now, more casual Pokemon fans may be thinking, hey, doesn't he, evolve into something? No, he doesn't evolve. Well, no. In the game, he does not evolve. But lore-wise, well, there's a Pokemon at the end of the Calistex we'll be talking about. Yeah, Carbink isn't really a battler. His whole thing is, he has a lot of lore connections and implications. Literally connected to 2 gimmicks, Megas and Terrasolizing, considering he was the only non-starter, non-legendary Pokemon left over in Scarlet Violet's code. So yeah, it's Carbink. No, Carbink, don't go out into battle with that 4 times weakness. Just sit here and tell us a story. You seem to have a lot of those. Pokemon number 704. Goomy. Our pseudo-legendary for Generation 6. Really? Pseudo-legendary already? Man, we are flying through this generation. What's that? He's not at the end of the dex part for the legendaries like most pseudos? Huh, okay, he's like Kibble. And Goomy is a pretty big fan favorite. He's a cool little dragon slime, and yeah, I do like him too. He's real neat. And the only unfortunate thing I can say about him is that the route he's caught in is the route right before the Fairy Gym. Ooh, bad timing. And then there's that evolution level of 40. I mean, the standard is like 35 for pseudos, so yeah, that's a bit high, especially for the small, squishy little Goomy. That's a bit difficult to get. So yeah, it's Goomy. He may be slow, but he's trying his hardest, and that's all that counts. You can do it, Goomy. Pokemon number 705. Sliggoo. Goomy's evolution here, yeah, just looks like a bigger Goomy, and it's more snail-shaped. Yes, I think it's still a bit cute, yeah, not bad. And with it being evolved, and its stats being more pronounced, we can now see that it is a tank. A pseudo-legendary tank. That's certainly a new one. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was right. Metagross does have higher attack than defense, so yeah, our first pseudo-legendary tank. But a tank that's not fully evolved and needs to get to level 52 evolve? Ooh, definitely not the easiest thing to train up. So yeah, it's Sliggoo. I didn't even talk about the messed up Pokedex entries. Yeah, Sliggoo's kind of, it's literally blind, and it sometimes ends up dissolving and eating its friends. Ooh. Pokemon number 706. Goodra. Goomy's final evolution here. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of Goodra. Don't hate him or anything, but the thing is, 1, I've absolutely loved the last 2 pseudo-legendaries. They're some of my favorites, so had to come off that high at some point. And 2, I'm not really a tank user, so, I've never really used one. Well, it's not entirely true. I used his Hisuian form, but base Goodra, yeah, I haven't used him. But, like I said, I don't hate him. He looks fine. He was the first fully evolved pseudo-legendary Ash got in the anime, and, that was pretty hype back in the day. And he definitely still looks cute. And can look tough, as seen again in the anime with Ash. I guess another thing is that his abilities are just okay, nothing crazy. So yeah, it's Gudra. Again, I like him. It's just, I loved the last two pseudos, so comparison's a thief of joy. Pokemon number 707. Klefki. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, Game Freak will take any old object sitting around on their desk and turn it into a Pokemon. They are so out of ideas. Let's defend Klefki. So, in case you forgot, Pokemon is a Japanese series. And a big important thing in Japan culture and lore, is yokai. And a lot of yokai are just inanimate objects brought to life by some means. You know, usually happens 1,000 years after it's existed or something. And other yokai are just, you know, the classic making up stories and creatures who explain phenomenons and weird happenings. So here we have Klefki, this little key ring fairy thing that likes to steal keys and cause mischief. Oh, where'd my keys go? Perfect. Now, I can't remember if Klefki was revealed before the game came out. I remember Honedge and Doublade were, so I remember the hate against them, but yeah, I can't remember if Klefki was. Now, interestingly, Klefki here is actually pretty dang good, so you know, that's pretty funny and ironic, because it has the Steel and Fairy typing, which is a fantastic type combination, and its main ability is Prankster, giving priority to any non-damaging move, so it can set up screens or throw a status condition on your opponent just immediately at the start of a turn. Fantastic. And here's the thing, watch Klefki anime clips. Klefki is surprisingly cute. Like, Klefki's really dang cute in the anime, depicted really dang cutely, so, yeah. So, yeah, it's Klefki. Oh, you know, I haven't even given my thoughts on Klefki. Yeah, I like it, you know, it's cute. I love that when to intimidate opponents, it'll, you know, just jiggle its keys angrily at it. It's funny. Pokemon number 708. Phantom. Here we have this neat little grass ghost type, the first grass ghost type. And I swear, back in Gen 4, someone talked about there being maybe a grass ghost type. Like, I forget if it was an NPC in the game or an offhand comment in the anime. I forget, but I swear on my life that there was someone that mentioned that. Now we have one. Though, spoiler alert for the next Pokemon we're going to be talking about, we now have two ghost grass types, actually. Now let's look at Phantom's Pokedex. Let's see, he is a stump being possessed by a spirit of a dead child who died while lost in the forest. Ooh. So yeah, it's Phantom. You know, I don't know how ethical it feels to catch one and stuff in my box for the dex. And considering there's a lot more than one, how big of an epidemic is this forest? Pokemon number 709. Trevenant. Phantom's evolution is, really dang cool and scary and intimidating. Love Trevenant. The classic tale of, oh, that tree looks like a scary monster. Oh, it actually is a scary monster. Oh, run. Though unfortunately, with that 56 speed, not fast enough for viability, not slow enough for Trick Room, and Ghost Grass has 5 weaknesses, so, I guess maybe if you're able to just maneuver him around enough, he can work. Maybe. And interestingly, he has a signature move. Forest Curse, you know, very fitting name, that simply just gives the opponent the grass typing. Which is a really interesting mechanic that they've introduced this generation, being able to give your opponent a third typing, basically. So yeah, it's Trevenant. You're going to have to keep a close eye on those trees when you go into the forest, because those trees are keeping a close eye on you. Pokemon number 710. Pumpkaboo. Here we have this neat little pumpkin Pokemon. And boy, it would have been good to talk about him in October. Just missed it. Bad timing. Pumpkaboo is our other ghost grass type that I mentioned. And you may think it, but interestingly, no, they are not version-exclusive counterparts with Phantom. You can catch both of them in the same game on the same route. And you know, Pumpkaboo's kind of an Objectmon, isn't it? It's based off a pumpkin. A pumpkin is an object, but it's a natural object. And you know, many other plant Pokemon are technically Objectmons, actually, but natural. But you know, you never see anyone complain about those. You only ever see people complain about man-made Objectmons, not the natural Objectmons. Interesting. So yeah, it's Pumpkaboo. Now again, yes, it would have been cool to have this in October, but if I were to time it correctly, I would have had to plan the series out years in advance. Pokemon number 711. Gourgeist. Pumpkaboo's evolution here has now grown a big old stem that it's now its body, and it has hair and hands in that hair, hand hair. Yeah. Gourgeist is certainly an interesting mon. Now, Gourgeist, and in turn Pumpkaboo, have a whole gimmick to themselves, that being their size. You know, growing different sized pumpkins. And their size actually determines their stats. The bigger forms have higher attack but lower speed. Its smallest size has 85 attack and 99 speed, whereas its largest form has 100 attack and 54 speed. And I've never used one, so I don't know which one is the best stat distribution, the most useful. So yeah, it's Gourgeist. I've read its Pokédex entries and it's talking about how it tricks people and brings them to the afterlife. Maybe we should stay away from that pumpkin patch. Pokemon number 712. Bergmite. Here we have this cute little Pokemon that's a little chunk of ice. And well, he's not very good. A pure ice type, slow, Volts level 37. I like him because, he's just a cute little guy. And shout out to a lot of the recent games for having Bergmite being found just chilling, just floating in the water. Because he's a chunk of ice. So yeah, it's Bergmite. No, Bergmite, don't go out into battle. Just stand there and look cute. Wait, I've already done this bit like 2 other times this generation alone. I guess that's just how it is sometimes with these cute little guys. Pokemon number 713. Avalugg. Coffee table looking at... Bergmite's evolution here has lost the cuteness factor, so now all we have to look at are his stats and... ooh, yeah. A slow ice type with horrible special defense. Yeah, if the flamethrower doesn't even have to be stab, it'll just... immediately. But maybe good coverage? Let's see. Oh, he learns Surf and Hydro Pump. Oh, his special attack is 44. And again, he's slow. Yeah, he's already taken a beating, and we haven't even looked at his Hisuian form yet. Ooh. So, yeah, it's Avalugg. Yeah, an Everstone has never looked so tempting. Pokemon number 714. Noibat. Here we have this awesome little dragon bat Pokemon. Ooh, I love Noibat. Noibat is very cute, though I could see that some people criticize his ears for being a bit too big, even though, they're speakers, because he's like a sound-based guy, so they're supposed to be. Yeah, that's a fair criticism, but I still like him. I still think he's cute. Though, just like Dragolgi, because he's a dragon type, he takes a while to evolve until level 48, and as someone who's raised a Noibat multiple times in multiple playthroughs, yeah, it's pretty difficult, but definitely worth it. And interestingly, Noibat's one of those Pokemon where its evolution was actually revealed beforehand during the, hype season, marketing season. And honestly, I cannot remember if Noibat was revealed before the game came out. So yeah, it's Noibat. This little guy is trying his best, and from personal experience, I know he can do it. Pokemon number 715. Noivern. Noibat's evolution here, ooh, has gotten really cool. I love Noivern. He has got this really cool, big, dragon sound bat Pokemon. And yeah, he was definitely my favorite team member Ash got in the anime as well. Literally evolved into Noivern while fighting a Zapdos. Ooh, love him. And he even has a semi-signature move, just a few guys learn it. Noivern's one of them. Boom Burst. A 140 power normal type move with no drawbacks whatsoever and hits both opponents in a double battle. Oh. And shout out to Noivern in the most recent game that just came out a few weeks ago, where you can find him in an abandoned lab just hanging from the ceiling because he's a bat, and he's just, he pounces on you when you get close. Awesome. So yeah, it's Noivern. Spoiler alert, the last Pokemon before the legendaries, and yeah, definitely going out on a high note. Pokemon number 716. Xerneas. Our first box art legendary is this fancy looking deer with, of course, the brand new fairy typing introduced in this game. Yeah, very fitting. And Xerneas here is the X Pokemon, and it may not be as obvious if you just take a glance at it, but if you look at it real close, maybe look at it at the right angle, you can easily see the X. And and when in doubt, its eye pupils are X-shaped, so there you go, that's an easy answer for you. Now, Xerneas is the life-giving Pokemon. It represents life and birth, and, it goes around, gives people life and stuff. But in combat, it is an absolute destroyer of worlds. Its signature move, Geomancy, gives it a +2 to special attack, special defense, and speed. Oh, but it takes a turn to charge, so that's the same as just using Quiver Dance twice. But the thing is, there's this item called a Power Herb, which makes charge attacks not need to charge and happen on one turn. So, just give it a Power Herb, and, yep, this box art legendary is at +2 in special attack, special defense, and speed in one turn. Ooh. And not to mention, Fairy is just a really good typing, so yeah. This thing ain't the Lifebringer. This thing is the death incarnate itself. So yeah, it's Xerneas. Wait, I got it. The song X gonna give it to you as the background music for a classic MLG montage of Xerneas destroying people in competitive play. Yes, perfect. Pokemon number 717, Yveltal. Can you tell which one I like more? Also, yeah, the name pronunciation. Can we all just agree that Yveltal in particular is a hard name to say? So the other box art legendary is this really cool, dark, scary death bird, basically. And yeah, I do love Yveltal, he's really cool. His signature move, Oblivion Wing, has a really dang cool animation, and is just a flying type version of Giga Drain, so yeah, healing from damage. Though, unfortunately, he's a dark type, Xerneas is a fairy type, it's a one-tap. Man, this keeps happening. I always end up preferring a legendary that's weaker. Groudon, Dialga, Zekrom. But you know, lore-wise, it is important that Xerneas overpowers the thing that just kills everything, you know? Considering the Pokedex literally talks about how when it dies, it absorbs a life energy and just killing everything around it within a however much radius. Oh, also, I just love its cry. It's so good. Also, it and Xerneas' battle theme, really dang good. Love that battle theme. Still prefer Giratina's, but this is like a close second. So yeah, it's Yveltal. Haha, I'm in danger. Pokemon number 718, Zygarde. Oh, in comes the glow-up of the century. The third box art legendary never really got his own game until recently. In X and Y, you just found him in this random cave and post-game, and basically no one talked about him. And I think it was through the Terra Leak we found out there was going to be another Gen 6 Kalos game. But then Game Freak decided to just skip a game that year that was supposed to be Z or whatever, to work on non-Pokemon games. And then Zygarde's fancy new forms were just shoved into Generation 7. And then, literally like a month or so ago, we got our Pokemon Z, you know? And yeah, I do like Zygarde. I liked him before ZA, definitely, but ZA definitely really helped me really like him. You know, just in general, Zygarde's this neat dragon serpent that goes around protecting the balance of everything. He's pretty cool. And Zygarde has, like, what, 4 or 5 signature moves? Wild. Also, for the many people who have said that the Zygarde fight is much harder than Arceus was, what are you on? I one-tapped Zygarde and Arceus took me 3 tries. No, Arceus is way harder. So yeah, it's Zygarde. You know, Zygarde, you're the balance Pokemon, so don't you think you maybe went a little extra at the ending of ZA? Nah, you're right. You deserve it after being stubbed for like 13 years. Pokemon number 719, Diancie. Our first mythical Pokemon for Generation 6, also just so happens to be the last waifu on Gen 6. Now, Diancie does not evolve from Carbink. Well, in the games, in the lore, Diancie is a mutation, a mutated Carbink, so kind of an evolution? I mean, literally the word evolution in Pokemon isn't even what evolution actually is, it's more metamorphosis, so like, yeah. And Diancie's just a cute little gem princess, yeah, I like her. Though when it comes to her movie, I don't really remember much, other than Pikachu got turned to stone and died instead of Ash. Also, Diancie was the first and only Gen 6 Mon to get a Mega until recently. And that was probably just because it has some clear lore connections to Mega Evolution. So yeah, it's Diancie. A very confusing Pokemon when it comes to evolution and such. Pokemon number 720, Hoopa. Finally, the Hoopa video is hoopening. Hoopa is a neat little Pokemon, with its rings being able to teleport anything it wants to anywhere it wants, really. It's a fun little trickster genie, or I guess Jin is the correct word, pronunciation for this guy. You wish for something and he doesn't, make it immediately exist, he just teleports it from somewhere else. Yeah, I like Hoopa, he's neat. Though his movie, very controversial. Okay, fine. Objectively, it's not good. But like, we got a bunch of legendaries fighting each other in the climax, like, come on. That's just fun. Just have fun. Plus, at least from what I'm remembering, that movie wasn't very long. So, the boring first half isn't the usual length of half a movie, because it's a shorter movie. So we get to the, legendaries fighting each other a lot quicker. Though, there is one piece of criticism that has stuck with me about that movie. Unfortunately, I forgot who said it exactly. But basically, the Hoopa movie is just a one big advertisement for Oraz because, oh, look at all these legendaries, look at all these cool legendaries that you can then go catch in Oraz, go buy our game. And I guess my rebuttal is just, well, considering the society we live in, we're going to be advertised to anyways, so the advertising better at least be entertaining, and yeah, I'd say this one is. So yeah, it's Hoopa. Alright, the Hoopa video hoopened. Now go outside, touch some grass, maybe go look at one of the world wonders. Oh, and Hoopa just stole all the world wonders. Pokemon number 721, and the last Pokemon of Generation 6. Volcanion. Volcanion? Oh, I really miss Pokedex 3D Pro so much. Is Volcanion the most forgettable mythical Pokemon? Potentially. And let me tell you, that's a real shame, because I really like him. I think he's really cool. First off, the Hoopa movie wasn't very good, so people then skipped Volcanion movie, and that's a real shame because the Volcanion movie is actually pretty dang good, and I will fight you on that. And then in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, they're like, you can befriend every Pokemon, except Volcanion. Because he wasn't revealed when the game was released, but he already existed, as we saw day one in X and Y, so you couldn't have even... I would have taken a like $5 paid DLC for that game, just to get Volcanion, just to have it complete of every Pokemon at that point obtainable, friendable, but you know, that really annoyed me. And now we're sitting here in a nice limbo state with the newest Pokemon game. We got a Diancie event, Hoopa's part of the DLC. Volcanion, please Game Freak, include Volcanion with something for this game. I don't want you to forget him again, because it's gonna tick me off again. You know, Volcanion's really cool. He's a Steam Pokemon, a Water and Fire type to make said Steam. Yeah, I love it. And he can fly. Very neat. So yeah, it's Volcanion. A forgotten Pokemon not by the fans, but by the developers. And maybe the fans too. Well, I mean, I'm trying my best to keep him alive.